All right. Thank you all for coming. All right, we're celebrating 3 years. Please help yourself with something to drink back here. We have a jam-packed agenda and some wonderful people here speaking. So lovely to see all your beautiful faces. I absolutely love this community. My name is Lavisha Franklin. I'm the founder of Kweens Kounsel, and today our host is going to be Natalie Hudson, who is our executive director.
It's so nice to be here. Thank you everybody for being here. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So on behalf of Kweens Kounsel, welcome to our 3-year anniversary celebration. Today, Sunday, February 15th, 2026, we gather not only to mark time, but to honor transformation, resilience, and community power. 3 years ago, we began with a vision to ensure that Black birthing families in Monterey County receive culturally competent, compassionate, and empowering care. Today, we celebrate how far we've come and where we are boldly headed next. Thank you to our families, doulas, healthcare partners, and community leaders who continue to walk alongside us in this mission. Let us begin by grounding ourselves in gratitude for the lives supported, the voices amplified, and the systems we're working to transform.
All right. So our first speaker here today is Miss Tanya Thompson. She's going to lead with elevating
Black Girl Magic.
Black Girl Magic.
Embodying the affirmation.
Embodying the affirmation. So she's going to lead us today with a, first she's going to do a speech, and then she's going to lead us in a chair yoga. So let me tell you a little bit more about Tanya. She's the founder of Level Up Coaching and creator of the Storyboard Method, a transformational framework for turning lived experience into leadership capital with a 30-year career across law enforcement, education, and social work. Tanya brings deep expertise in resilience, trauma, and organizational change. She holds a master's in public administration with a focus on organizational change and counseling, and is a certified public manager, a national designation for leaders in public service. Tanya is also an ICF accredited coach, yoga facilitator, and trained practitioner in integrating evidence-based and holistic approaches to leadership, development, and personal transformation. Her professional journey includes roles as a teacher, a social worker, a corrections officer, and associate warden of programs, giving her a unique lens into both human behavior and systemic change. Through Level Up Coaching, she partners with individuals to break free from limiting narratives and with organizations to transform culture, equipping all leaders to harness shared knowledge, foster inclusion, and build thriving futures. Without further ado, please let us welcome Ms. Tanya Thompson.
Well, thank you so much. As Lavisha shared, my name is Tanya Thompson, and I am a coach, speaker, and trainer. I am here today to talk a little bit about Black Girl Magic and its connection with Black History Month and how that relates to the Kweens Kounsel. The other thing that I'm going to be talking about as it relates to Black Girl Magic is Black Girl Magic was an affirmation. And so I'm going to talk about affirmations, how they show up, how we embody them, and then the most important piece is self-care and how self-care helps us to be ready to help and serve others. So, I'm going to open with a quote. Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. Audre Lorde. How often have we treated self-care like a luxury instead of a necessity? Well, during Black History Month, we honor resilience, we celebrate endurance, and we reflect on strength. Because in Black history, resilience, endurance, and strength in the face of oppression was not indulgence. It was resistance. And so in Black history, the phrase "Black girls are magic," which was later shortened to the popular hashtag Black Girl Magic, It was coined in 2013 by Kounsel Thompson. And her effort was simply to have Black women be recognized and uplifted for their journeys here on this earth. As an affirmation, hashtag Black Girl Magic named the inherent worth, brilliance, humanity of Black girls and women in a culture that did not necessarily reflect that back to us. However, in the context of resilience, endurance, and strength, hashtag Black Girl Magic was not about being superhuman. It was simply about being seen. Unfortunately, media and marketing co-opted the term, used it as a tool, and began to paint Black women as just that, superhuman. And the phrase Black Girl Magic became the signal that Black women could do it all. But the problem, as pointed out by Tamika Kounsel, a Penn State professor, she pointed out that the institutions in which Black women are traditionally underserved may then think that they can continue to underserve Black women because Black women are expected to be resilient and strong. So when we talk about resilience and strength, we're talking about resilience and strength of women like, Black women like Harriet Tubman, who not just escaped slavery, but returned time and again to liberate others. We're talking about Black women like Sojourner Truth, who stood in rooms that denied her humanity as she declared, "Ain't I a woman?" What about Katherine Johnson, whose calculations sent orbits into space? Or Madam C.J. Walker, who built generational wealth in a country that denied Black women access to capital? And let's not overlook the strength of Shirley Chisholm. Unbought and unbossed was her motto. Running for president without permission. So I tell you, for Black women, strength has always been present. Endurance has always been present. And worth has always been present. What hasn't always been present, though, is affirmation. So let's talk a little bit about affirmation. Now, you'll find throughout this talk that I like the dictionary. So I'm going to give you some definitions. Dictionary.com defines affirmation as a statement of the existence or truth of something. And in this context, at least, I love that definition, because it is naming something as true, even though it's not treated that way. So I'm going to say that again. An affirmation is naming something that's true, as true, even though it's not seen that way. Okay? So, as an affirmation, hashtag Black Girl Magic names the significance, value, brilliance, and inherent worth of Black women. That is the affirmation that Kounsel Thompson was putting out in 2013. So let's talk a little bit more about affirmations. I'm going to share one of my favorite quotes that I now use as an affirmation. And that is, your feelings are your own. So remember, affirmations name the truth, right? For me, this affirmation that your feelings are your own, it names the truth that I have 100% responsibility for my feelings, my thoughts, and my experiences. Many of us are conditioned to believe that people and circumstances outside of ourselves are responsible for our outcomes. But I'm here to tell you, your feelings are your own. That stuff doesn't come from outside of you. That stuff comes from inside of you. So the more I accept that affirmation, that my feelings are my own, the more my life begins to change. I stop blaming people, I stop complaining about things, because I recognize that I hold the power to change my life. What makes the difference in the affirmation, what makes it come to life? Yes, you need to say it, absolutely. But there comes a time where you have to live it. And I call that embodiment. Now, I told you I like definitions, right? So let me give you a definition of embody so we'll be on the same page. Dictionary.com's definition of embody is to give a concrete form to, express, personify, or exemplify in concrete form. In other words, embodiment happens when what we say we believe becomes visible in our everyday lives. That is what it means to embody. It's to have it show up live, living in your everyday experiences. Let me give you a practical example. Most of us have experienced some kind of nervousness, whether it's before a big speech, a presentation. Those of us who might be athletes, and I said us, I'm not an athlete. Those of y'all who might be athletes, who might go out and compete. Sometimes you might experience a little nervousness before those things, right? Some of the things that might be going through your head, in fact, I've been dealing with it while I was waiting on y'all. Oh my gosh, I hope this goes well. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, right? Y'all experience that. So those are the thoughts that are running through your head. And you know at that time, you can't get out of whatever it is you're going to do. You're going to give a speech, you're going to perform, whatever. You know you can't get out of it. What do most of us do? Most of us have an affirmation at that time. Just before we get on stage, just before we get on the field and get on the court, we have an affirmation. For me, I like to say, I got this. Right? Or we say, let's do it, let's go. Whatever it is that gets you charged when you get on stage or do your performance. And once you say that affirmation, you step into whatever role you had to do. For me, it was to give this speech. What you'll notice, when I first started, I might have been a little slow, couldn't get my flow. But you'll notice, as I got more comfortable, I started moving around, I started talking to y'all, right? Because I embodied my affirmation that I got this. That is what embodiment is all about. So, when we move from embodiment to self-care, let me back up, because I got some phrases I want y'all to remember. So the first thing we talked about, affirmation. Affirmation does what? Names the truth. I want y'all to remember that. Affirmation names the truth. Embodiment does what? Embodiment is how you live the truth. Okay? So affirmation names the truth. Embodiment lives the truth. And now we're going to talk about how to sustain that truth. And we sustain that truth with self-care. So, one more definition for y'all. Self-care. Dictionary.com defines self-care as the act of attending to one's physical or mental health, generally without medical or professional consultation. In other words, self-care is the responsibility we take for maintaining our own regulation. Okay? So when we talk Black Girl Magic, and that used to mean that Black girls could do everything or we superhuman, doesn't mean we're not powerful. It doesn't mean we're not able to do a lot. But it does mean we recognize that self-care is critical. And let me add one more caveat. I know it's Black History Month and I know we're talking about Black Girl Magic. But I recognize this room is not just filled with black women. The tips and strategies I'm sharing apply to all humans. To all humans. The context of black women, however, gives us a unique access to look at how these things transform and show up in our lives. So many people reduce self-care to bubble baths and spa days. Don't get me wrong, that's some of my most favorite self-care to engage in. Matter of fact, I had a good bubble bath last night. It's time for the spa, but most of us reduce self-care to bubble baths and spa days, but I promise you, self-care is not just taking a bath and having a nice glass of wine. Self-care is how you support yourself. It is the deliberate practice of giving your body what it needs to stay steady and regulated under pressure. Yoga, meditation, breath work are some of the most accessible self-care tools available to us. They are practices that we can use anywhere, anytime, especially when we need to sustain an embodied affirmation. So what I want to do now is I want to give you an opportunity to practice sustaining some affirmations. I'm going to give you, we're going to do a meditation, a little bit of breath work, and a couple of chair yoga postures that you can do right from where you are. The only thing you'll probably want to do, and I'm going to take this chair, you will probably want to just make sure that you have some space between you and the table. All right. So as we start, let's just start by getting grounded, okay? We're going to start with our breath. We're just going to take a couple of moments and breathe in deeply through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Keep doing that in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just allow your body and your brain to just settle for a minute. Now when you're comfortable, close down your eyes or look low at the floor. And we're going to go into a breathwork pattern where you are going to inhale to the count of 4, hold for the count of 2, exhale to the count of 6, and hold to the count of 2. We'll do 3 of those. Okay? Ready? Inhale. 2, 3, 4, hold. 2. Exhale for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold at the bottom for 2. And again, inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Hold for 2. Inhale for 4. Last one. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Hold for 2. Now from here, we're going to go into a short meditation. And so while you continue breathing, just focus on your breath. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. As you focus on your breathing, start start to notice what's happening inside of your body. Do you feel tension, tightness? Do you feel tingling? Just notice. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to change it. Just notice. The beauty of doing meditation, even just for 1 minute or 2, is you focus in on just your breathing, and you give your brain an opportunity to slow down. And yes, thoughts are still flowing. Meditation is not about being silent. It's about being present. So when you find yourself being taken away by your thoughts, just notice it and go back to focusing on your breath. This is how you self-care for your nervous system. Now slowly begin to bring yourself back into the space. Move your fingers and your toes. And begin to flutter your eyes back open. So now I'm going to give you 4 postures that you can do in your chair anywhere. These are just little ways that you take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. Okay? The first thing we're going to do is just warm up our body. We're going to start with doing some neck rolls. So take your right ear to your shoulder, down to your chin to chest, left ear to shoulder, left shoulder, head back, and just go around rotating your neck. Go the other way, opposite direction. Now I want you to do some shoulder shrugs. Bring your shoulders up to your ears, let them down. Bring your shoulders up to your ears, let them down. One more time, up to your ears, down. Now roll your shoulders to the back. Continue to breathe in and out while you roll. Roll to the front. Awesome. Bring your arms out in front of you and just do some wrist circles. Rotate your wrists around, rotate, rotate. Go the opposite way. Awesome. Now rotate your ankles. You get bonus points if you can do your ankles and your wrists at the same time. Other direction. Awesome. That just gets you a little loose and a little ready to play. All right. So the first posture I want you to do is called cat-cow. Now, if any of you know yoga, you probably know this already. I like to come to the edge of my chair. You do whatever makes you comfortable. What you're doing in cat-cow is you are flexing your back and rounding your back. This is cow. This is cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale, cat. Do 3 more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Last one. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Next, we're going to do a seated twist. So, take your right arm to the back of your chair, or you can go over the top or on the bottom, whatever's comfortable for your shoulder. You don't want to extend or hyperextend. And then take your left hand, come across your body to the opposite hip or thigh, and then turn your head to look over your right shoulder. This is a seated twist. This allows you to release tension in your spine, in your back, in your sides. Continue to breathe in through your nose, out through your nose. One more breath, in through your nose, out through your nose. Raise your arms up, come back to center, and then do the opposite side. Left arm comes behind, whether it's on the back of the chair or behind you. Right arm comes over to your left thigh or hip. Look over your left shoulder and hold and breathe. 4 breaths in and out. In through your nose, out through your nose. In through your nose, out through your nose. Last one. In through your nose, out through your nose. Arms up overhead, come back center. Now we're going to arms up. Give yourself a nice stretch up, 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 up. Inhale, and on the exhale, fold yourself forward, hinge at your hips, and do a seated forward fold. Allow your hands to drop to the floor, to your side. Allow your head to hang low. This is an inversion. You want your head hanging down. You want the blood rushing to your head as much as possible. This is where you get to release all of that stuff in here. Continue breathing. Last breath. Raise your arms up, arms down. Your last one is you will have an option. You can either stand up or you can stay seated. We're going to do a side stretch. So if you are seated, start with your left arm. Bring your left arm up and just lean over to the side. You just want to get a nice stretch across this whole left side of your body. Yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now switch, come to the middle, right arm up, over opposite side. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One more, in, out. Come back to center, both hands to your lap. And we're going to close out with just another breath. Take a couple of seconds. Close down your eyes. And simply focus only on your breath for about 20 seconds. In through the nose, out through the nose. As you bring your chair practice to a close, I want to remind you that these are postures and practices that you can do anywhere. Self-care is so, so critical. And this just gives you a little bit of a way to move your body, loosen it up, and get some flow. And I'd be interested to hear how much better y'all feel from just that little bit, Okay. As I leave you, I want to leave you with this. Affirmation names the truth. Embodiment lives the truth. Self-care sustains the truth. Okay? I have a book coming out in a couple of weeks. Having a here on the table. Thank you. It's called Beyond the Vision Board, using the storyboard method to picture and produce your preferred reality. And in that book, I teach us how to get present with where we are in our life, identify what the preferred future we'd rather have, and then we look at what's in the way. And then how do we actually embody the future that we're creating? I look forward to speaking with you all at the end of the event. Thank you so much for giving me time and space to share with you all.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kounsel. Okay, so as we know, community transformation never happens in isolation. It is built through partnership, collaboration, and shared purpose. We are honored to spotlight the organizations that stand beside us in strengthening birth equity across our region.
So, of course, Queens Council was formed in 2023. We are fiscally sponsored by the Birth Network of Monterey County. We have representatives here from the Board of Directors for Birth Network, which both Natalie and myself are also on the Board of Directors for Birth Network. So if you guys don't mind standing up so we can give you a round of So, you know, this is a great team of ladies, and I love working with them, and we are so grateful and honored that they agreed unanimously in 2023 to be the fiscal sponsor so that Queens Council can launch. And in case you were wondering why we started with the lovely Miss Tanya Thompson, sorry, is because I don't know if you guys were at the first anniversary. We actually did stretch yoga, body yoga, and I know it was a big hit for us to start the show with one, also affirming Black Girl Magic, which is who Queens Council is in Monterey County. We were given that honor. And also, just so that we can be grounded, focused, bring everybody here and get everybody aligned. These nice young men are going around handing out water bottles for anybody who worked up a sweat during that stretch. So take that water bottle. We also have light snacks at any time. We're going to set sandwiches out soon, so please feel free during the whole presentation to go and help yourself to a sandwich. And again, here is the QR code for Birth Network's website. If anyone is interested in seeing what all we offer in the community, please feel free to scan this QR code. I want to give Ms. Tanya another round of applause. I know we have a lot of providers here and community members who are leaders in other areas in the community. Please feel free to reach out to Ms. Thompson, utilize her. She loves doing what she do, and we love having her here. So of course our mission is supporting safe and inclusive birthing experiences, and that's what we've been doing. I don't know if you guys know this, but just in 2023 when we formed, that's when doula services became a reimbursable service for Medi-Cal benefits, for Medi-Cal recipients. So it's extremely important that we are delivering the services to the most vulnerable population. Again, here are the Queens Council doulas that are currently serving. We have a few doulas present. I'd like for us to stand, and so you can see us. All of our doulas weren't able to make it today, but they're all serving our community in a great way. If you'd like to, if you're interested in any doula services or you know any community members, that's the QR code to sign up for doula services. And if you're interested in any of the doulas' profiles to learn more about what they deliver. As we said, you know, it's with our community partners, what makes our work so successful. We have Parenting Connection. Through Parenting Connection Doula Hub, we were able to train and certify, credential, and contract our doulas with Medi-Cal in order to be able to bill for the services. So we're extremely grateful for that partnership. With the Tri-County Doulas, IUCC Carino, they are expanding through Santa Cruz County. It just expands our resources beyond Monterey County with our affiliation, and I also help to facilitate one of her doula training classes. So extremely grateful for that partnership. And another strong partnership we have is First Five. Through First Five, they have contracted us to help lead a safe passage Black maternal health training for local providers in order to know how to best support those births. So without further ado, we'd like to bring up our partners one at a time. Parenting Connection.
Yeah, Jamie.
So Jamie has worked in the area of community development for over a decade. Before coming to Monterey County, she was a Peace Corps volunteer in Paraguay, an experience that started her on the path of equity and human development work. Jamie has worked as an ESL instructor all over the Salinas Valley, as well as a childbirth educator, lactation consoler, placenta encapsulationist, and a birth doula. She has been with PCMC since 2022, first as a program director and now currently as the executive director. And outside of work, she enjoys traveling with her daughter, Romy, and connecting with her amazing friends and family.
Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Jamie. I'm a friend, a partner, and a supporter of Lavisha, Natalie, and the entire Queens Council movement. I'm honored to be here once again to recognize Queens Council in its third year. It seems like we've lived a few lifetimes since we were all together last year. A lot has changed on every level, but one thing that hasn't changed is the absolute powerhouse that is Queens Council. And Queens Council has been on a journey the past few years. Every year has shown growth and new momentum and ability to persevere, which, as we all know, has been particularly important as of late. When Queens Council was conceived, there was a clear and intentional purpose. More recently, we have seen just why that purpose is so important. Queens Council and all of us here who support them are being called today to deepen our commitment and to be truly resilient and radical in the face of aggression and oppression on the national stage as well as right here at home. I hope that we leave here today with a renewed sense of community and resolve to support the work of Queens Council. And I can't wait to be back here next year to celebrating another year of accomplishments.
All right.
So I'm one of those amazing friends that
Yeah.
she makes it outside of work, so just so y'all know. So without further ado, I'd like to call up another one of the BFFs, Miss Nora, who's the co-founder of IUCC Carino. She is, as you come up, I'll be doing your... Nora is a mother of 6 and the co-founding director of IUCC Carino, a family collective, also known as RC Fam, a community-rooted family resource center serving families across the Tri-County region. With nearly 20 years of experience working alongside children and families, Nora's work centers culturally grounded care, parent leadership, and building spaces where families feel seen, safe, and connected. She helped launch RC Fam in 2022 to create a hub where families can gather, access community health and parenting support, explore the arts, and receive perinatal care through the Tri-County Doula Hub. Her leadership is shaped by deep community relationships, lived experience, and a strong commitment to equity and mutual aid. Nora is known for bringing people together across cultures and sectors to strengthen family well-being. At her core, she believes families already carry wisdom and strength, and her role is to stand alongside them as they thrive. Let's give her
Okay. So I made Lavisha cry last year. Let's see if I can do it again. So Lavisha is my poet friend, and as I was laying out my thoughts, it just kind of shaped a little poetically. So I hope you're proud.
cry before she starts talking.
Again, my name is Nora, and I did help create this multicultural family center in Watsonville, knowing full well that I am a white presenting cisgender straight person. But I'm not the only person in the community. I have a multiracial family, and I have multiracial children, and I have loved ones, including my own children, who are from every letter of the rainbow alphabet. So when I say that we're a multicultural family center, I mean it. And okay. I dreamed the center into existence, and I opened it around the same time that Queens Council had announced their vision. And I am proud of us being together in this kindred timeline. And I know all too well the date of launching is only a fraction of time it took to dream and create something so important and impactful. I'm honored to have been asked to speak tonight because for more than 3 years ago, a seed was planted, a seed of knowing, a seed of truth, a seed that Black families deserve more than survival. They deserve joy, they deserve safety, they deserve to be held. And Lavisha listened to that knowing, and instead of waiting, she built. And she launched that 3 years ago. She built a home, a living network of care, a place where Black birth workers and Black families could be seen and supported. Because birth is not just medical. Birth is story. Birth is lineage. Birth is the beginning of how a family feels in this world. And we must be honest that anti-Blackness still lives in our systems. It lives in whose pain is believed, in who is heard, and in who is protected. This work matters. And this work is love. This work is resistance. This work says that Black birth is sacred. Queens Council did not stay in one room, though. Queens Council moved, it showed up, it activated this county by bringing care into multiple community spaces. Libraries, community rooms, gathering spaces where families already live their lives. And to me, that says something really important. This work meets people where they are. It does not wait behind closed doors. And as we know, when Black families are cared for well, all families rise. The standard rises, the humanity rises, because of the vision of Queens Council. More birth workers walk in their calling. more families feel supported, more babies arrive in spaces that say, you belong. 3 years is not small. 3 years is roots growing deep into and across this region. And roots need water. They need community. They need people who do more than clap, people who show up, people who invest, people who speak up when it's uncomfortable. Bravo, and so my invitation to all of us tonight is to continue supporting this work, to fund this work, to share this work, to protect this work, and to name this work in rooms where decisions are being made.
Yes.
If, and I believe you do, if you believe birth should be safe and dignified, your role does not end tonight. Let tonight be the moment you choose to stand closer, to give more, and to advocate louder. Because when we uplift Black families, we are shaping the future for all of us. Thank you, Lavisha, for pushing forward a better community, better society, and a better world.
All right.
I was crying on the inside. I love her. And out of our community partners, now, this
Oh my
lady,
gosh, you're not
she
gonna
told
be
me. She told me to break it down and only keep what I need out of her bio. But I could not take anything out of it. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm going to give her all her accolades. Because I want to tell you something. In order for a building to stay firm, you have to have your pillars. So I bring in the pillars who help hold Queens Council up in this community. Okay, so no, I'm not going to water down their bios. No, because it's the strength of these bios and the strength of these pillars that allow this, you know, because the Black population in this community is only 3%. We need strength. We need strength to maintain. These 3 years, as like Nora said, they have not been easy 3 years. Okay? So it's these pillars, these community partners, everybody's support that is keeping us going strong and growing. So no, I'm not going to dilute the bio. I'm going to read every word on here. So Francine, she has been the executive director for First Five since January 2004. We're going to clap for all of your In that position, she manages an annual budget of over $6 million and 14 employees. The vision for our First Five is that the well-being of all young children and families are nurtured by responsive services, just and equitable systems, and safe and welcoming environments. First Five supports children from prenatal stage through age 5 by promoting child-friendly policy. I'm sorry, I said I was crying on the inside. Policies and practices by advocating for changes in systems that are holding problems in place, and by funding quality coordinated programs. First Five is a leader in innovative programming, connecting child care, mental health, parenting development, and care coordination support for families. First Five is committed to actively creating a community where race, gender, sexual orientation, and physical ability do not determine access to opportunities or outcomes. First Five has supported over 625,000 children and families since its inception. In addition to working for First Five, Francine has also been been active in community initiatives and boards, including Bright Futures Cradle to Career Initiative, Bright Beginnings Early Childhood Development Initiative, the Child Care Planning Council, the Monterey County Children's Council, the Monterey Bay Economic Partnership, and the Community Foundation of Monterey County. She has held several leadership positions with the First Five Association and boldly supported the association, digging deeper into racial equity and social justice principles and approaches. She has also been recognized in the county with several awards, including the Child Abuse Prevention Council's Talcott Bates Award in 2013 for serving the children of Monterey County. Francine grew up right here in Marina, California, on the Monterey Peninsula. She has a BA, BS in Broadcasting Journalism and Political Science from the University of Southern California. She has a master's degree in International Economics and Latin American Studies from Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies. And prior to returning home, Francine worked overseas developing and implementing programs supporting women and children living in vulnerable communities. She lived and worked in Africa and Latin America and the Caribbean for more than 15 years, including 5 years in Haiti as the Peace Corps country director. Without further ado,
I learned a big lesson today, you guys. big lesson, which is do not send my whole bio to anybody.
I'm gonna give you all your flowers.
Well, and it's my time to give you yours, okay? Because Lavisha gave me a month's notice to do this talk, right? So it's not finished even now. Because you guys are gonna help me. Right? So the young guys who've been handed out water have tried to make sure everybody had paper and pen because you're going to be part of this, okay? You all played a crucial role in helping to make Queens Council what it is today, and we want to give Lavisha and Natalie and all of you all your flowers, all right? So we know the why, right? The population in Monterey County, as she mentioned, is only like 3%, 3.2%, and that's 426,000 folks. So I did the number, and I'm like, okay, because everybody talks about 3%, 3%, 3%. Okay, so that's only 13,970 people. That's the men and the women, right? And when you look at the women, that's only 6,800 women that we have, or females, or however identified at birth. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be not appropriate here, but you know how our society right now still has us doing all of that, right? So according to the census, 6,800 women. So in Monterey County, right? We know that women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth. We don't have the numbers in our county because the number is so small. So we don't have that number, but nationwide, 3 times more likely Black women are to die in childbirth and more likely to have complications as well. And definitely, as we've already heard today, more likely to face discrimination. And we have seen that. You all doulas who are part of the Safe Passage that Natalie and Lavisha are also helping to do have also been experiencing and sharing what they've been experiencing as they've been trying to support our African American community in our county. And Lavisha said, this is not okay. This is not okay. So it was a clear why and a clear what that she had to do this. And she definitely did not let the how stand in her way. As those of us who are here know, right? So yes, 3 years can sometimes seem like a long time, sometimes seem like a short time. But it was 3 years with this germ of an idea of what we see today. I'm so proud of looking out and seeing all the folks in this room. You know, Marina is the 8th most diverse city of its size in the whole United States of America. And I am so proud of everybody for coming out today. You know, yes, we have Black faces here. Yes, we have Latino. Yes, we have Asian. Yes, we have white. And it is amazing and wonderful to see. And so I'm just so proud of our community, who we are and how we stand up for each other when it's needed. And it is needed now. So what I would like folks to do with their pieces of paper, if you have one and your pens in front of you, if you don't, raise your hand and the guys will help, or dig in your purse for a pen if you don't have a pen. But I just want you to write down a couple of words. When you think of Queens Council, when you think of Lavisha, when you think of Natalie, and all of the other doulas who have done this work, Parenting Connection, Raíces y Cariño, what comes to mind when you think of this work that we're doing for our communities? I'll just give you a few seconds to think about that. And get ready, because we are going to spend some time shouting them out. All right, who wants to start? Just shout them out, just start shouting them out. What are the words that come to mind when you think of Lavisha and Natalie and Kweens Kounsel and the work that's happened over these last few years?
Legends.
Legends. What else? Persistence. Yes. Power.
Compassion.
Passion, compassion, strength.
Don't take no for an answer.
Don't take no for an answer. Courage. What else? Educators, visionaries. Keep it coming.
Necessary.
Necessary.
Queen.
Community.
Community.
Allyship.
Love. Relationship.
Allyship.
And allyship. Compassion. Support.
Sense of safety.
Sense of safety.
Faith.
Venturing.
Nurturing.
Nurturing.
Oppression fighters.
Oppression fighters. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. All right, I want you all to pass them to the end of the table. We'll pick them up later because I want them to have those words, right? Those words are powerful. They're phenomenal, right? So Lavisha and I were at a event recently by Camilla Majid, who wrote Joyfully Just, Black Wisdom and Buddhist Insights for Liberation Living. She was helping us to process the grief from the recent loss of Ronald Chiron Tinsley, who was shot at the hands of police in Marina here. And one of the things that she helped us to do, and I'm so glad you started us off with the breathing and the mindfulness and the movement, because it is so important. Talked a lot about self-care, which is community care, right? Sometimes we think of self-care as being selfish, but it is not. It is community care, especially for us women and Black women as well. And reminded us that there are things like that have confronted us, that if we succumb to them, we stop. And Lavisha and Natalie said, to internalized racism, to interpersonal racism, to institutional racism, the policies and barriers that limit Black people based upon racism. No. And to specifically prejudice against Black women that can sometimes cause us ourselves to stop and to not lean into things because we internalize these things. No. To experience interpersonal racism for women or institutional racism. So it's clear that Kweens Kounsel was built on the idea that it is important for us to be joyfully just, that we need to create a joyfully just future for ourselves and our children. It is clear that Lavisha and Natalie and all of the women who are the doulas for Kweens Kounsel came from royalty, from brilliant minds in science, in math, in nature, from people who had the forethought to weave seeds in their hair, in their homeland, so that wherever they were going to be taken, they could plant those seeds. It is clear that they helped themselves and their children to say, I am the answer to my ancestors' wildest dreams. To remind all of us that they tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. I want to thank you for all the work you've done. She gonna say something, I put that whole bio up there.
All right, let's give Miss Francine another round. All our community partners, and that relationship is extremely important. And I'm gonna let Natalie, you you want to introduce the next
Absolutely.
round of speakers?
So, as it's so important to have the community partners, but moving into the provider partners as well, it's the whole other side of what we do, and having relationships there really helps us leaps and bounds. So, healthcare leadership plays a vital role in shaping equitable birth experiences, and today we're joined by respected leaders who are committed to improving perinatal care and strengthening collaboration with community doulas. We look forward to hearing their insights on how we continue influencing Black birthing culture in Monterey County.
All right. So, as you see, I made this slide. I said there was a 150% increase in the number of CCAH recipients served. That number, I could have put any number. However, because this workforce never existed prior to 2023. So, all of the Medi-Cal recipients we serve have never had this resource before us. So, I'm extremely important. And like Natalie mentioned, not only are we creating the workforce to support this vulnerable population, but we're also advocating in the spaces with providers and also into the hospital systems. So, yeah, we just, I don't take no for an answer. And it's about shifting the culture. So because we are sending Black doulas in to support Black families, we need to protect both the doula and the family, right? So that it's important for us to build strong relationships with the system, the Medi-Cal, the hospital systems, as well as the providers. So we have a very, very, very special guest here from CHOMP. I know you all know that when it comes to healthcare experiences for Black people in this community, CHOMP kind of had a reputation, so to speak, for, you know, not being a very friendly environment. So it was extremely important for us to establish a connection with the birthing center in CHOMP Hospital. And luckily, they had a beautiful woman there named Miss Joy Suber. And she's been extremely supportive of Kweens Kounsel ever since it was a thought. So we've taken that thought into action and making extreme changes. So Joy Suber, as a lifelong Monterey County resident, Joy began her nursing career in 2006 in labor and delivery. Over the past 20 years, she served families at CHOMP, Sutter Hospital, Sutter Davis Hospital, Lucille Packard Children's Hospital in Sanford, moving from bedside care to leadership in 2021. Her role in healthcare has shifted to improving the quality of care for the perinatal population who trust CHOMP's Family Birth Center and NICU with their lives. Joy has been married to husband Jason Baring for 31 years, and together they have 3 children. Thank you. I don't know if our relationship would be as great with Trump without Joy being there. So I'm extremely grateful for her. Again, those pillars that allow us to do.
You guys, I'm a worker. I'm a labor and delivery nurse. I help babies come out. That's what I do. And so I too don't like the word no. So I've spent a lot of time in my career caring for families who I felt just were not getting the care that they received. Give me the quote unquote difficult patient. Give me the underserved. I want them because they deserve just as great of an experience as the celebrity who happened to come on in for their delivery. So for me, this has been very important. You know, I can't stress to you enough the power that hospitals have to make and break people. It is a system that has to change. It has not been rooted in anything that serves Black people. So I first met Lavisha and heard about Kweens Kounsel in 2023 through a Zoom meeting at CHOMP. I was new in leadership there, had just left Stanford, and I see this multiple faces on this Zoom screen, and this one Black woman who was also beautiful, and spoke about her organization, and I thought to myself, oh my goodness, wow. Who has been the brave enough person to do this? Because in Monterey County, this is unheard of. This is unheard of. I just thought to myself, how is it that this organization has co-focused on making not only, increasing Black birth rights, just even bringing them to the forefront, but to also challenge the experience that we've been having. I was proud. I was really proud. I didn't even know you, and I was proud. If now knowing you and Natalie, the people behind the scenes, I'm like, well, no wonder we're where we're at. No wonder. I think for a moment, I ask for you to think for a moment, when you see a pregnant Black person, in your mind, think statistically the odds are against them for surviving their pregnancy, let alone their birth. I have a very big challenge in the hospital where I don't see very many nurses that look like me. We are working on that. To, in the walls of the hospital, make birth safe, so that people who are Black and brown can walk through the doors and know that they don't have to be afraid, that they don't have to wonder if they'll make it out alive. I get emotional thinking that. Every time I see a Black person walk into CHOMP and walk past my office, internally I say, we got you, I got you. I'll care for you myself if I have to. And I have gone toe-to-toe with many doctors, and will continue to do so in my career until we are all getting the birth experiences that we deserve. I am very passionate about that. It's hard for me because it's for Black women in birth, it doesn't matter about our education or our financial resources, our access to care, none of that matters. You know what matters? The only thing that continues to have us dying at a higher rate is the color of our skin. That's it. Nothing should matter until that is fixed. Because nobody's birth matters until we all get to go home and be with our families. Collaborating with Kweens Kounsel has been a joy at CHOMP because I like making people in higher places feel uncomfortable. They don't like these conversations, they squirm, and then they go, well, what can we do so we can get you out of here? And so that is something that I have been very grateful to be a part of. We are working on revising policies, not only for how we care for our patients, but who we include in our care. How we make our doulas feel like they belong, because you do. The only birth story that matters is the one that when our patient leaves, they say, I felt supported at CHOMP, I got good care. Our doulas walk out and say, I really like it there. Those nurses are funny. We all ganged up on this doctor and we got what this patient wanted. I just want to hear us work together. I do. One of the things that we've decided to do as a hospital is to open up in labor and delivery, and we are the first unit that's doing it, but I hope it grows. Our staff meetings will now be open to doulas. Because when we learn together, we're working together. And working together for these families is what is going to show our providers that we come and we mean business. So they have no choice but to get on board. I appreciate Kweens Kounsel for making Black birth justice a conversation. It is a conversation in our department, and it will continue to be the conversation until it is the norm. Thank you for giving a voice to Black families in Monterey County. It's not existent. And congratulations on 3 years. I'm trying not to get choked up. I look forward to walking alongside you, and you let me give you whatever I can give you. I don't like that word no, so. Okay.
Let's give Joy another round of applause. It's one thing to have, I know you've seen the meme, they say black faces in high spaces aren't always for you. I'm so glad that me and Joy have so many matching things. We like making them uncomfortable. We like having those conversations. We like holding accountable, and we like standing up and creating safe spaces for our people. So I'm so grateful that we matched energies on that level, because now we can shake some shit.
Yeah.
And next we have Dr. John Silva. So Dr. John Silva, I know him also as a fellow, we took a class together. So we were in CHW classes together in 2023 when I was talking to him about Queens Counsel. And when I tell you, he's like, Lavisha, you onto something. You're onto something big. He was like, I know it's going to be successful. I know it's going to grow. So I'm so grateful to have Dr. John Silva here today. He has practiced in Salina and Monterey County since 1987 as a primary care physician. He has taken care of all family members, including pregnant women, from 1983 to 2013, delivering thousands of California women during that time period. He presently works as a public health training consultant in Northern California. Before I bring him up, I want to talk to you about a story I remember you telling in class about you were on your way to a birth and you got pulled over by the police or something like that. So I'm just saying, you know, you never know here, and we all face those same experiences as Black people, so we have to be a lot more resilient. We have to not take no for an answer. It takes a lot for us to advocate and support our people in this community. So I am so extremely grateful for Dr. John Silva. He speaks up in all facets of social determinants of health. You can hear him delivering public comment on housing, rent stabilization, and things like that. So I am honored for him to take the time and come here and speak with us tonight. And without further ado, I'd like to bring
So thank you, Alicia. Thanks for the opportunity to speak in front of people. It's been a while since I have been on delivery. I did that until 2013. I retired a couple of years ago. In fact, I was taking this community health worker training with Lavisha just as I was retiring. So that was in 2023. But the door that opened was into public health, which is great. So public health looks at things from more like 10,000, 15,000 feet. So that's this kind of, I like to call it a bird's eye view. And much of what I'm going to say has already been addressed by Francine and Joy and some of the other speakers today. So that's a good crowd for me then. People are going to understand what I'm saying. African American maternity care is in crisis because of prejudice and inequity in our nation. But we also have clear, concrete levers to make care more trustworthy and effective for Black women. I think we've seen examples of that today. So I'm going to talk about the problem a little bit, why racism matters, an approach, a zero tolerance approach, which I support, and then shifting power from we doctors to patients. In the United States, Black women are far more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes and to experience severe complications even when they have higher income and education. It's not about individual choices that people make or individual choices in where somebody went to medical school. It's all about, those statistics are all about the social determinants of health or the social factors of health. And this long history of prejudice in America and discrimination against Black women in medicine and in society. As a result, it's tolerable in our society that Black women encounter maternity care that feels dismissive, unsafe, and untrustworthy. Providers may not listen, symptoms are minimized, and pain is underestimated. I guess the word that people in medicine are waking up to now is doctors gaslighting patients. To change outcomes, we must rebuild trust and redesign systems, not just tell women to get more care. Back to social determinants of health. When I say social determinants or reasons for good health or bad health, I'm talking about where people live, housing, how crowded their housing is, their income in the neighborhood, transportation opportunities in the neighborhood, food security, how safe is the neighborhood, and how accessible is the clinic. Not just to get there physically, but how accessible are they to treating you. All of these shape whether women can get timely, continuous maternity care at all. Structural racism has concentrated black families in areas with fewer hospitals, fewer maternity care providers, and higher exposure to chronic stressors like discrimination and violence. And there's a word circulating now in medicine called weathering. So these conditions, what happens in the neighborhood, what happens in your zip code, your ZCTA, can lead to stress, chronic daily stressors. And the word that people are using in public health realms now is weathering. And that weathering we experience, black people experience. It's the cumulative wear and tear on the body from chronic racism and stress, which makes pregnancy riskier and recovery harder. So I'm not fully aware of the concept yet, but when I've read about it, it sounds as though that this weathering describes, some of us age more adversely, right? And certainly, pregnancy is a disease of young people. But although they may be chronologically young, considering the environments that many of us come from, they may be not just 21. Their placentas may be more like 31 or 35. Okay, because the roots of these health consequences are social and structural or built in, the solutions must be multi-level and explicitly anti-racist. So, all of us, I feel like all of us, patients and doctors and healthcare providers, need a zero-tolerance attitude to any more African American women dying as a result of less than adequate maternity care operating, and the actions have to happen at various levels. So zero tolerance. So somebody did the math. 6,800 black women in America, in Monterey County at this time. So basically, maternal mortality, in the big picture, maternal mortality, it's not as common as heart attacks, right? So the likelihood that a maternal mortality is going to happen in Monterey County is pretty small. A zero tolerance approach would be, we don't even want to see one. There shouldn't be, we need to develop systems so there's not even that first one. And I'm sure there have been others, but, okay. So the various levels that I'm talking about are at the individual level. We should work to ensure that every black woman is heard, believed, and involved in shared decision making about her pregnancy and birth. Secondly, at the individual level, provide access to culturally concordant providers like Lavisha, the doulas, Joy. Providers, doulas, navigators who can advocate, explain options, and help women recognize red flag symptoms. At the family level, what we can do is educate partners and family members about the warning signs in pregnancy. Have the family in the exam room. It shouldn't just be, well, I mean, people have to work, so sometimes you have to go to the doctor's office on your own, but the office can be inviting. I practiced family medicine for almost 40 years, so we liked having multi-generational. There was one 24-hour period where I took care of 5 family members, 5 generations of family members. We were used to that. OBGYNs need to get to that point too. I hope that's happening. Support family involvement in appointments, birth plans, postpartum care. Okay, that's a family level. At the community level, as Lavisha and Kweens Kounsel is demonstrating, it's important to partner with Black-led community organizations, churches, mutual aid networks to offer childbirth classes, support groups, and navigation in trusted spaces. But also, as Dr. King would say, all health providing organizations, it's important that Kweens Kounsel is able to coordinate and collaborate with all the health providers, regardless of race, because we're all trying to get this zero tolerance approach. It's important for us to invest in community health workers and doulas, doula is drawn from the same community they serve, so support is grounded in local culture and experience. At the local agency level, which is hospital and clinics, they have to adopt zero tolerance policy. They should adopt zero tolerance policies for racism and disrespectful care. I'm sure that's the kind of work you're doing, probably more than you want to, Joy. With clear reporting mechanism, patient narratives, and real consequences when people fall short. And then, as well as that relationship piece and the trustworthiness piece, it's important that care is standardized, and hospitals have been trying to standardize care for a long time, particularly for pregnancy complications, okay? Let's see, and finally, the final level, if you're going to approach this from a zero tolerance standpoint, is at the governmental level. Expansion of, so getting doula services covered, right? That's a state of California decision, right? And I saw it, and last time you and I talked, I found that it was getting pretty, not only was it doula coverage, but it was comprehensive. There was a report I read about introducing dental care. You know, our communities do have a lot of dental care. That's another example. And inflammation from a sore tooth will affect how the placenta behaves. So it's important that Medicaid covers not only during the pregnancy, but postpartum. There are many stories of women passing on well beyond the typical 6-week period that Medicaid often covers. So we need to invest in community care in underserved areas and require transparent reporting of outcomes by race. It's important to keep getting that data segregated. We need to fund Black-led maternal health initiatives, data systems, and accountability structures to monitor and close these gaps over time. So even with strong policies, trust will not improve unless Black women have power where decisions are made.
Yes.
We need Black women, especially those with lived experience of the system, on hospital and clinic boards, on running nursing departments, on quality improvement committees and advisory councils, but bringing up that point of, is the outcome the same across our population? Are the outcomes that we're seeing the same for our Black patients as they are for our Hispanic or Latino patients? Some key policy directions for those, before the policy directions, the role of these nurses and these healthcare administrators that are Black, it has to be more than symbolic. They must operate in environments where they can shape quality and equity policies, set priorities, and review outcome data, again, by race. Some of the data we're talking about is collecting, analyzing, and publicly reporting maternal outcomes and patient experience measures by race and ethnicity. Another policy area would be hiring, retaining, recruiting, promoting Black physicians, midwives, nurses, and administrators, require anti-racism and bias training, and then finally, another policy area would be equitable program design. For example, is the decision to have doulas participate in the team huddle. You know, you're getting more information. You're getting not just what I think about this person's blood pressure today, what are we going to do about that, but you're also going to find about the challenges, what can we do about this woman's 4 children, that if we're going to keep her another 12 hours, we need to make sure that she's not going to worry about that, all right? So comprehensive services during pregnancy as part of equitable design. Group prenatal care models would be another example of equitable design. The Centering Pregnancy Program, and then doula privileges in hospitals. Did I hear that doulas have privileges at Child?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I've been off the that makes sense.
That you touch bases on, with not only being invited to their meetings, we also have an outside space that Birth Network has developed. I think PCMC is also involved too, where we have an outside environment where we're doing team building skills so that the doulas and the medical staff in the hospitals can develop relationships outside of the hospital so that we can start forming that care. CHOMP is also have a new, like a 5-minute doula nurse dialogue before going into the room, so that that rapport is already built and they're going in there in a more unified way. So yes, those things are happening.
Right, okay. This will all make a difference. And then finally, the community empowerment piece is, community empowerment in this setting means Black women in their communities define what is good care. That's the importance of narrative data and patient experience. It's great if we can be involved in what is good care, what worked and what didn't, what was harmful, what was helpful. Comprehensive care for women of childbearing age, it's more than just being pregnant. It goes all the way back to good nutrition in the first 5 years of life. If we can make sure that those young people are getting the sustenance, both nutritionally and stimulation-wise and educationally, they're gonna tolerate pregnancy that much better. Black mental health organizations, we can advance this by networking like Livisha is, existing groups, Black maternal health organizations, birth justice collectives, community clinics, and local social justice coalitions. Supporting leadership development for Black women as advocates, board members, researchers, and policymakers. And then, once again, creating feedback loops so we can hear how this is working. If we make a zero-tolerance stance on racism in maternity care, we can shift power to Black women at every level and connect policy, practice, and community networks. We can move from an untrustworthy system to one that is truly life-affirming, equitable, and worthy of a Black woman's trust.
Yeah. Period.
So much of medicine is relationship-based. And the other thing is, I know after having practiced for 40 years that we shouldn't be shy to demand these approaches, because I'm 100% certain that with these changes, care for all women and all children will benefit. It's not just African American women that die in labor or in the peripartum period. It happens to white women, Latino women as well, and it happens because of a system problem. A question wasn't asked, or an attention wasn't paid to enough detail for a variety of reasons. So if we can narrow down on this canary, right, the canary in the coal mine, if we can get this right, it'll improve care for everybody. So this is something that society will benefit from.
Absolutely.
So once again, thanks for this opportunity to speak with everyone. I'm really grateful on so many levels. So.
I'm not going to stay up here long, but for the sake of time, and I know y'all don't want to be in here all night, I appreciate the time that y'all have come and listened to all of this good stuff, all these good lessons, all these good things that's happening in our community. But we have one more very important speaker to come up here, and then we can just eat and party, mingle, and then after parties at Brass Tap. All right. And I want to tell y'all there's a beautiful, lovely young lady going around now with raffle tickets. So everybody who came, you get a free raffle ticket, and you get an opportunity to buy more raffle tickets if you want. But let me tell you what all we have, right? So I love my community. We have a lot of great donations here to raffle off, and again, just like our speakers said, Queens Council relies on funding too. So I'm not asking everybody to, give me $500,000, even though, I know y'all got it.
You could.
I know, right? Affirmations. Affirmations. I know there's millionaires in the room. So I'm just asking if you guys can, maybe buy an extra raffle ticket or two. But we have great prizes. So our lovely community has donated 2 wonderful paintings right over here. We have a tray, a container full of wine. We have a baby bag full of baby stuff, like everything on that table has a value of from $50 up to $700. Okay? And we're just asking for $10 for raffle tickets, and then, you know, we'll tell you what all we have. When we're calling it out, you have an opportunity to buy extra raffle tickets if you want something in particular. You know, when we call out, say, hey, okay, right now we're calling out this one, let us know, and you can get an extra raffle ticket to throw in the bucket just for that item. Again, 2 items that are not on display over there is we were donated 2 tickets to the VIP, 2 VIP tickets to Prince and Pony's All Women's Car Show. And that entails a VIP seat right in front of Tiffany's with the red gate, the red rope. You get the red rope seats, and it's open bar, open food all day for the car show on Carmel. $700 value, 2 tickets. And we have another 2 tickets for whale watching. And that's a $420 value. So we got great stuff, and I want everybody to win. My friend who makes the best vegan cookies in the entire world has donated some of her vegan cookies. She also has sent some for to sell. They're $4 a piece. And she's going to donate a portion of her proceeds to Queens Council. And she also has a shirt over there. My lovely friend Tamisha in the back, who's going to come out and lead us in some line dancing later, a little while. So get ready, get ready. I hope y'all got your boots on. But she is a wonderful author, and she's designed these, what are they called again? Journals, affirmation journals. You know, we started off with affirmations, so please feel free, and she donates a portion of her proceeds to Queens Council as well. They're over here at the table. Please check them out. Stick around, because guess what? We got this raffle coming, and y'all all get free tickets, so I know you want to get it. Without further ado, we're going to move on. Are you ready? Or you want to eat some more? Yeah. Okay, okay. All right. So, we have, as y'all see, Queens Council rolls with the creme de la creme. Okay. So everybody that comes up here is the best of the best in Monterey.
All right.
Love you guys. Without further ado, I'd like to call Dr. Deborah Wilson to the front. Dr. Deborah Wilson is a mother, author, minister, a motivational speaker, a consultant, a business owner, and a civic leader. Dr. Deborah Wilson is a mother of 2 successful adult daughters. She exemplifies balance between family, faith, and professional excellence. Dr. Wilson holds a doctorate of philosophy in multidisciplinary human services, a master of science in counseling studies, and a bachelor of science in health science. Healthcare organization and management. She currently serves as the Chief Deputy Contracts and Procurement Officer for the County of Monterey. As the founder of Kingdom Boot Camp, Dr. Wilson has built a powerful network serving a diverse range of individuals and groups that offer professional, personal, and spiritual counseling, mentorship, and practical support grounded in biblical principles. A passionate writer, Dr. Wilson has authored several articles and journals on empowerment, which are available in collegiate libraries and online. Her books, covering a myriad of topics supporting personal and professional development, can be found online and in the Downtown Book and Sound Bookstore in Salinas. Dr. Deborah Wilson, public servant, author, certified coach, and minister.
All right.
You know this, or you good?
No, I think I'm good. I just want to say that I'm grateful to be here like everyone else, and Lavisha's like my niece, and so she just thinks I can speak in everything that she has, even if there's no relevance for me. But I'm grateful, and my other god sister is here, Tamisha Allen. So I'm grateful to be here. I just want to tell you we have good news. So if you look up advocacy and community organizations for the County of Monterey, the Monterey County Black Caucus comes up, the NAACP comes up, the Village Project comes up, and Queens Council. That is legendary. So what I've heard today and what I've seen, one of the things I like, it's so boring to be the smartest person in the room. And today I'm probably the most unsmart person in the room with everything that I've heard, with everything that you all have accomplished. And so I'm so grateful to be in the presence of such excellence and legends. And I'm actually taking notes. That felt so good to be taking notes. And when she talked about the affirmation and the sustainability and also the embodiment of what it means for self-care. So I'm excited, but I want to say that the community advocates and the leadership and the collaborators that we have in this room, that you are focusing on the holistic health and wellness. Not just about Black women, but about humanity. You're focusing on the humanity and the wholeness and how we all take a part in that. And then what I really like is that you're talking about heart health. She said, I'm a minister. So there's a scripture that says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Amen. So you know more about what a person feels about you, whether it be as a provider, as a community advocate, as a friend, as a family member, based upon what comes out of them. That's how you know where it's coming from. And it really is at the root of it, which is the heart of it. The heart of the matter is we live in a society and it's the systems that are full of racism. That's the heart of the matter. And that's the sad part. That's the scary part. Because you're saying rudimentary, at the heart of it is racism, which is hate. So in order to combat hate, you have these types of collaborators and these services and an individual that has the level of heart that Lavisha has that says, I'm going to be a visionary. I'm going to write the vision and I'm going to make it plain. Why? So that those that read it, those that participate, those that come together will see it, will read it, will take it and embrace it and run with it, which is what you all have done. So in the room, we have those that are legends, when we had to do our affirmations, trailblazers, and visionaries. I want to say that when I'm listening to, I listened to Dr. Silva and also to the Nurse Super, that I like that new word that he gave us was weathering. And we know what it means to be weathered, right? We call it Haggerty, but it's not. Weathered. And simply, I want to say that the reason why this is going to be successful, and this is a launching pad, and you've made it to Google and AI as a community advocate, is because you are refusing to become a token. Everybody in this room has refused to become a token, whether you're Black, white, Hispanic, an advocate, a provider, just a community individual, an instructor, a person of excellence, a Black woman of excellence, a Black girl that has magic, an individual that exudes compassion, love, and inspiration. You're saying you refuse to become a token to systematic racism. And you're not putting gender or color or any blind spots in front of you, but you're allowing your heart to lead. The reason why you're going to be a legend, and the reason why you're there, and the reason why you're going to be a success, and the reason why the momentum won't stop, is because you are requiring accountability for fairness and for equity. The reason why you're successful, and you will remain successful, is because you are resting in unrest. That means you're not going to stop until it's fixed. Amen. And you're not looking for it to be fixed today or tomorrow. You're looking for it to be fixed so that it is sustainable. So that we don't have to come back here and believe that every time there's a situation we have to fight. So that the nurse that's working at CHOMP doesn't have to go in there and say, I have to have a challenging conversation. Now, we're grateful that she's willing to do that. We're grateful that she didn't say, I'd rather just be liked. We're grateful that she said, I would rather just be a token. But she said, I would rather upset the apple cart. And all of you have come together to say, I refuse to stop. And because you have become rested in your unrest, this will continue to grow. It will continue to flourish. This room will be in standing room only. And this needs a bigger platform. This needs to be on a national platform. This needs to be on an international platform because this is not just a County of Monterey issue. It's not just a California issue. This is a worldwide issue. And so we're grateful for the work that you've done. We're grateful for all of you that have come together to support. And I met LaVisha when she first came to this area. And look what God has done. Woo! Look what God has done. And the victimization that racism tries to impound upon us is what we're saying we refuse to be a part of. I refuse to be a victim. And I just want to go on record as saying that I'm grateful for the doulas, and where were you when I was having kids? You know? And I am so serious. I have preeclampsia and high blood pressure. And gestational diabetes, all of that. And so I almost died in childbirth, both of my children. I had my first daughter at San Jose in a trauma center, and I almost died. I had my second daughter by C-section, emergency C-section, and I almost died there. And I cannot say specifically that I was treated unfairly, but I can say that it would have helped if I had this advocacy. It would have helped if somebody had to help me when I got home. One of the things that you notice is back in the day when you were having children, whether you were having a natural childbirth or whether you were having a C-section, they didn't send you home. As soon as you look like you can open your eyes, they send you home. You know, and I remember that having my first daughter, and I got home and I passed something that looked like I was having a whole nother child, and I called everybody screaming. Nobody called to check on me. I could have been hemorrhaging and could have died, and there was no one there to ask me how I was doing once I got home. There was no one there to advocate. There was no one there. My mom was my doula.
Yeah.
Parents would take off work to come and take care of their kids when they still do it. And when I had my second daughter, it was the same thing. I had her, and I didn't understand why I had to have an emergency C-section. The doctor never said to me, we're losing her heartbeat. He told somebody else that they was losing her heartbeat. They had to convince me because I didn't want to have a C-section because I was afraid. Because in the next room over, I saw them and I heard them giving somebody a C-section without anesthesia, and I heard a blood-curdling scream. So I refused, and almost at the detriment of my own life and the life of my own child. So we also have a situation of fear and anxiety. And I think that with the services that we have and what I've heard today, we're going into the right direction. But I want to say that when you're pregnant and when you're going through that, as he talked about, you're already scared.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right advocacy and you don't have the right information and you don't have the right understanding and nobody's explaining to you why they want to do certain things to you, and you allow them to do it out of fear, or you don't allow them to do it out of fear, it can be fatal. So I'm really, again, grateful for this space. I'm grateful for you. And again, and another thing I wanted to say is I have two friends, because of the lack of this level of service. My one friend had a child. We were both 18 years old. I remember we were in the mall, and she kept grabbing the side of the wall in the mall. I said, we got to get you somewhere, you know. She ended up, what really was happening is her child was born with hydrocephalus and a brain tumor. The reason why she was holding on and she was in pain is because the head was 4 pounds by itself. Mm-hmm. The baby lived for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and died. 19 years old. I have another friend that had a child, around the same age. She was older than that, but she had a child, and toward the end, the umbilical cord wrapped around the ankle of the child. So the baby was born, the baby came, and then within a couple of weeks began to deform. With cerebral palsy, severe case, has never spoken. Now is 21. These services that you're talking about are necessary. What you're providing is unprecedented. And I just wish that we had it, like you said, back in our day. But now that you do have it, now it's time for us to tell these young women that are coming up that these services exist. That they can have help, that there is a nurse, there is a doctor, there is someone that's going to make sure that they're okay. And you talked about it. We're not worried and we're not judging about how many children you have at home. We want to make sure that those children are provided for too, it sounds like. if you lose a child, it sounds like you're gonna have that level of mental health care too. So this is priceless, and I'm grateful for you all. Again, the refusing, the requiring, and the resting is what's gonna make this successful. God bless you and have a nice day.
Give Dr. Wilson a minute. I want to elaborate a little further what she was saying about, when you send home. Our doulas are able to provide 18 visits, support visits. So, and that's covered under Medi-Cal at the discretion of the mama, however she needs it, whether it's prenatal or postpartum. So that's 18 visits. Also for loss, whether it's an abortion or miscarriage, we can also provide those same services of support. And like you said, when the doctor told you, well, did not inform you on what you were going through, that's another thing that a doula can do, help moms make an informed decision. We can educate them on whatever information that the doctors don't have that time. So it's not a job. It's not work.
Right.
It's passion. It's a calling. It's a calling. Honoring our community and cultural heritage. All right. So, if you've been at any of our previous events, we've always had the wonderful Ty Garrett come out doing West African dances. And she's here again with us today, and she has a long trip, so I want us to go ahead and utilize her while we have her here so she can get on the road. She's been driving all day, so please be patient and enjoy. Enjoy some of our cultural dances. Thank you for having me. Of course.
I'm always happy to be with the South Bay family. This is for you guys. You guys all stand up. I know you've been sitting for a while. So just gonna do some movement together. Come on, come on. That glove. Hey. So you guys just copy me, okay? Drop it up. All right. Y'all know what to do. All right.
I buy bells and I pay in cash. She like to go and I like silver. She owns my heart and I can leave her. Ghana girls that get big yash. I buy bells and I pay in cash. She like to go and I like silver. She owns my heart and I can leave her. We're cool, drop it. You guys say me that shot. Drop it. You guys say me that shot.
Take care of our wellness together. You know, Marina?
That beat, move like say you get shot. Other you, sabi to move like say you move up.
Learning to rise each time she falls. She felt the voices telling her you can, but now she walks with rhythm in every step she plans. Yeah. She trusts the beat that comes from within. She follows the path she was born to begin. She moves like she owns the day. No one can take her power away. Everybody taught her how to stay strong enough to rise. She leads the way. She moves like she owns the day. No fear can take her power away. Everybody taught her how to stay strong enough to rise. She leads the way. Now she wakes with a fire she built alone, turning past hardships into her backbone. She knows the road and always clear the lane. She dances forward, unafraid of the strain. She moves like she owns the day. No fear can take her power away. Every battle taught her how to stay strong enough to rise. She leads the way. She moves like she owns the day. No fear can take her power away. Every battle taught her how to stay strong enough to rise. She leads the way. She moves like she owns the day. Sweating through the doubt that bounds away. And even when the world tries to make her sway, she stands her ground. She leads the way. She moves like she owns the day. When they doubt that bounds away. And even when the world tries to make her sway, she stands her ground. She leads the way. My future self will look back proud of me. Look back proud of me. I decided I'm giving my time to learning to care for myself gently. I'm letting go of the pain I used to leaving the feelings that hurt me before. I'm choosing peace inside, not holding on anymore.
But you know what? It's always important. One thing I learned from Francine Rod about the importance of movement. So we always incorporate movement opening and movement closing. So this was extremely important. For those who want to join this line dance, come on, y'all might as well. But in the meantime, I'm about to put up the slide for raffle tickets if you want to donate anything directly to Queens Counsel for those. But this QR code is for donate directly to Queens Counsel. This has been lovely. Again, I always enjoy celebrating with the community and celebrating what we do. And I love community involvement. I love what we're doing. And I know 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we'll be sitting in here with all of the babies that we helped bring into the world. And the generations of what is going to change and how we are collectively shifting the culture of birthing experiences. So, again, thank you so much. And we're going to close this out with a line dance. Join. Let's join. Tamisha thought she was going to get out of here without doing it. She really thought she was, but no, we got to dance. It's a party. And after party at Brass Tap for whoever wants to come. It is kid friendly. We did not book a space. We're just going up in the place. Okay? So please join if you want to, if you can. Tomorrow's no school, so you don't have an excuse. All right. Love you guys so much. Please continue to support and speak up. And when you see a pregnant black mama, ask her, does she know about Queens Counsel?